Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to Woo Can Cook. My name is Wesley, and this is a show where we are slowly cooking our way through all of the food from my childhood. Today we're diving back into our series dedicated to Japanese comfort food classics with a shot at what I would describe as my personal favorite form of the chicken sando, which is the Japanese chicken katsu sandwich. What makes the katsu sando so uniquely superior to all other forms of the chicken sando? Great question, internet, let me tell you. The Katsu Sando, as you may have guessed, most prominently features the Japanese chicken katsu, which is a breaded and fried piece of chicken breast, coated in egg and panko, served with a side of the American-influenced tonkatsu sauce, and then placed between two pieces of the softest bread known to man, which of course is the Japanese milk bread or shokupan. As with any sandwich, the Katsu Sando can be found served with a variety of different veggies and accompaniments to go along with your fried chicken. In my opinion, though, the simplest solution here is also the best version of this sandwich, which is a simple side of shredded cabbage. Finally, perhaps the most important piece of this equation that makes this sandwich superior to all other sandos, Nashville, I'm looking at you, is the shape and form of our chicken cutlet, which is iconically butterflied and flattened before frying. This yields for us what I would call the only chicken sando that logistically has a structural soundness to it, so it doesn't completely fall apart when you eat it. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so diving right in, we're kicking things off here first with our aromatics. This is 4 cloves of crushed and minced garlic to start, followed by 1 inch or about 1 tablespoon of fine minced ginger. These are both heading into the wok along with our tonkatsu sauce, so I'm going to go ahead and mince these together at the same time here. Then next, as promised, is the only accompanying veggie with our Katsu Sando today, which is about a 1/4 head of cabbage shredded into strips, like so. Now, quick side note here, my biggest issue with shredded cabbage is that cabbage itself is irregularly shaped. It is thinner and leafy on its exterior leaves, but more rigid and firm as you slice closer to the core. This means that if you just slice straight through it like you would an onion, you're gonna end up with a really uneven chop, also like an onion. This will ultimately leave huge pieces of the center core floating around your sandwich, which is very unpleasant. So, the best way that I've found to deal with this is to pull the leaves apart first, then slice them individually. It takes a little bit more time, but your chop is going to be way more even though. Moving right along to our tonkatsu sauce next. Now, a katsu sauce most iconically features the use of ketchup to round out its sweet and savory qualities. This, of course, should be the first and biggest clue in that we are deep in the belly of American expat-influenced Japanese cuisine here. So, going in here first, this is a baseline of 4 tablespoons or a 1/4 cup of soy sauce to start, followed by a single tablespoon each of Japanese rice wine or mirin and Chinese black vinegar. Then rounding this out, this is a single teaspoon of dark soy sauce, followed by a tablespoon of oyster sauce, and of course, as promised, 2 tablespoons of Heinz ketchup. Moving on to our chicken next, we're butterflying these open, then flattening with a meat mallet to create a nice flat, even cutlet for our sandwich. Now, those following along with this series will know that I've been using this butter fork nakiri knife for some time now, pretty much non-stop for I think close to 4 months at this point, and it is still incredibly sharp and reliable. This, however, might have been the first time that this knife let me down though, not because of its craftsmanship, but simply because, well, you really just need a knife point to properly butterfly, and the nakiri, of course, doesn't have one. So, it's not the end of the world, but if this butterfly seems a little bit clumsy, well, that's why. Moving on next up, I've got a 3-station breading setup here for our katsu. This is AP flour in my first bowl, followed by 2 whisked eggs in our second, and of course panko breadcrumb in my flat tray. Now, if I was doing this correctly, each of these stations should have been seasoned with a pinch of kosher salt, but I forgot. So, in any case, I'm starting here with a coating of flour on my chicken to start, followed by my egg, and finally my panko. I'm specifically using a flat tray for my panko today so that we can press firmly into the panko to help it adhere to the chicken breast. Over on the stove, I have my fryer heating up to 350 degrees F. Whoa, that's too hot. Thank you, Thermopro. Then I'm frying my katsu for about 2 to 3 minutes until golden brown, flipping them over frequently to prevent uneven brown spots from forming. You can do this deep fry step in really any vessel that you've got on hand, but I will say that a wok like this helps a lot because its wider diameter lets us fry the chicken while also keeping it nice and flat. Last up, moving on to our tonkatsu sauce, I've removed my fryer oil, then reheated the wok over medium heat and added 4 tablespoons of peanut oil. Then here's my aromatic garlic and ginger going in for about 15 seconds until nice and fragrant, followed by my sauce mixture plus about a 1/4 cup of water, or really just enough water to catch the residual sauce left behind in the bowl. I'm letting this cook for about 30 to 45 seconds just to mellow out some of those acids. I think mirin in particular is a little bit abrasive in its raw state. Then here's my cornstarch slurry going in, comprised of 2 tablespoons of cornstarch dissolved in water. Finally, I'm letting this reduce for 1 to 2 minutes until a thickened sauce forms, then removing from heat immediately. Back over on the cutting board, here's my Japanese milk bread or shokupan. I've seen differing opinions on whether or not the crusts of your shokupan should be removed. I personally am not a 5-year-old child, so I'm not gonna do that, but choose for yourselves accordingly. In any case, here's my sauce going on first, followed by my shredded cabbage, then my katsu cutlet, and a bit more sauce to finish. We're slicing this by requirement in half on the diagonal because everything tastes better with points, and we're ready to eat. Okay, so look, I have had a lot of chicken sandos in my life, probably too many chicken sandos really, and here's the problem. The American chicken sando as we know it is not really a sandwich. It's more just a piece of fried chicken with some bread thrown in as an afterthought on the side, basically. Pretty much 100% of the time when you eat a chicken sando, that bread ends up getting smashed and pulverized while you eat your quote-unquote sandwich, and then you're left with just a mess of soggy bread to accompany your fried chicken. We've all had that sandwich experience, right? Okay, so the reason that this happens is because the size and shape of your fried chicken has not been prepared in a way that's conducive to fitting into a sandwich. Don't get me wrong, a Nashville hot chicken sandwich looks really great in photos, but ultimately there is logistically no functional way of eating this sandwich. So enter the chicken katsu cutlet. Butterflied, then flattened, and then fried and served with the most superior form of white bread. Y'all, this is the only chicken sando that I've ever eaten that doesn't just completely fall apart after the 3rd bite. And this is because our chicken breast itself is actually prepared and shaped in a way that's conducive to, well, being in a sandwich. To top this all off, our katsu is golden brown and crispy, our tonkatsu sauce is packed with sweet and savory umami, all combining to create the perfect chicken sando. Okay, so that's it everyone. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you give this one a shot. For those who are new to the channel, this one is part of a larger series that's dedicated to Japanese classic dishes, so definitely check out that series next if you haven't yet because there's a lot of these. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, be nice interneters, and I'll see you soon. Bye.